How you doing, my brothers? This is Midtown Savior. I'm back with another video. Today, I think it's an important video. But before I begin this, I gotta say hey to my brothers. And also, I gotta say hey to my enemies. Remember this, you wouldn't have an enemy if that enemy didn't put you on child support. Remember this, you wouldn't have an enemy if that enemy didn't put you on alimony for the rest of your damn life. And remember this, you wouldn't have an enemy if it didn't, force jab you, if you know what I mean. And one more thing, you wouldn't have an enemy if it didn't separate you from your children. I gotta say that. Today is an important video. Why? I want to pay tribute to the brother Kevin Samuels. Now I have my disagreements on the brother. I gotta say that. I feel like since he was a suit wearing man, I pull out my old suits, from when I used to be doing business back in the day. But I want to talk about this man. I didn't agree with him when it came to marriage. I didn't agree with him. Talking about a high value man should be married. All this conversation on that. I didn't. I have to admit that, brothers. I did not agree with him. But I'm not going to talk about what I didn't disagree with, what I didn't agree with him with. I want to talk about the impact he made in this community. I have to, brothers. And I'm going to tell a story. And this story is a video I saw the day before he died. It was a woman that called in on his channel. That woman divorced her husband, put him on alimony and child support for the 2 boys that they had. And Kevin Samuels in that video told her to take him off of child support and alimony. And he said, do split custody. And she was saying how he was complaining about how he was struggling. He didn't have a home. He was homeless. He couldn't afford the child support. He was paying so much. And that's when Kevin Samuels said you should get the split custody. And then let the man get back on his feet. Take him off child support and alimony. Let the man get back on his feet and let him get custody of the boys because they need their fathers. And that same woman on that panel did not and would not do that. And Kevin Samuels fell well her, got off the panel. Why I say that video touched me is because it reminded me on all the things I once experienced dealing with these phone calls with other brothers who was on alimony or who was on child support, who was suffering in the system, who couldn't get out. And he had a woman who had her man suffer, her ex-husband suffer. See, Kevin Samuels tried to help these women by telling them the truth, critiquing them, and trying to get them to want to change. That was his mistake that he made. Now the positives that he did, that he brought to the world, I got another story to tell about the positive that he brought to the world. I have a brother, good brother, man, met him through business. His name was Mike. He said to me, we were just chilling. And it was something that happened. I was like, man, what happened with you and your wife, man? I don't see that y'all are married no more. I saw they was single. And he told me, he was like, man, Honestly, bro, I've been catching hell for a long time. But I had ran into a guy, I saw one of his YouTube videos. I was like, what was his name? Kevin Samuels. I was like, wow. And he said Kevin Samuels gave him the courage to leave his wife. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, God damn it. Kevin Samuels did that. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, I would criticize this brother on this marriage thing. He actually got a brother to leave his wife. And he told me, he said, man, that Kevin Samuels helped me out a lot. See, that hit me. And that was about a month and a half ago before he died. He did affect people's life in a positive way. I'm going to tell you something, brothers. And I got to give kudos to all of us in this community, all the work in the manosphere, all the men in the manosphere collectively, all of us, the founders, all of us. Because if it wasn't for the founders of these communities, like Tommy Sotomayor and other brothers, there wouldn't be none of us here. But if it wasn't for the manosphere, there wouldn't be a Kevin Samuels, man. Kevin Samuels allowed our voices to get a major reach out in the mainstream, out in society, that the common man that we wasn't reaching out to, because we was a small community, he allowed the common man to see female nature for what it is. See, we've been preaching about female nature for years. We've been preaching about female nature for years. But Kevin Samuels, when he came to this community, he gave us a bigger voice to reach to the people around the world. And he allowed the voice that we've been speaking for so long to come to the light, for the world to see female nature for who and what they are. All the preaching we've been doing over these years, he allowed the community to see the world, he allowed the world to see female nature for who they was. And now you can't deny the truth. You can't deny females for being who they are. You can't deny female nature anymore, because the world can see it now. You see, he gave us that. He gave and brought the red pill to the forefront for the world to see. And I got to thank you, Kevin Samuels, for doing that, regardless of what I agreed on with. Because I want to thank you. Because that brother, that is a good brother of mine, like a mentor to me. You gave him the courage to leave his wife. How many men you gave them the courage to see these single mothers for who they was? Coming up on these panels, telling the world who they was. How many men you really saved, man? See, I had to look at the bigger picture. I had to look at that. See, I'm going to tell you a story. What got me here. You see, I was homeless. I didn't know where to go. But see, it was a guy who paid it forward to me. Got me on my feet. Helped me start my life over when I was homeless from a divorce. Fucked up. And it was this community that saved my life and allowed me to save other brothers' lives. How many men you saved, Kevin? Over the millions. You see, the truth of the matter is, I got to pay my respects to this man. I got to. I have no choice but to. Because he gave men the courage. But see, on the flip side of all of this, is that he wanted to help women. That's the sad reality about it. And when he died, those same women he wanted to help laughed at him, celebrated his death, damn near pissed on his grave. So it's not going to be another Kevin Samuels telling you the truth and what you need to improve on. Quite frankly, we don't give a fuck. We're not trying to save you. We're trying to save men. That's the truth. There'll never be a Kevin Samuels again. It's not going to happen. A man who wanted to help y'all, and y'all spit on him. But see, this is war. This is war. You can't expect none less in war. Because these females don't give a fuck. Laughed at a man's death as I preached about a man's pain. You don't know what the family was going through after he passed, but they celebrated his death. And on top of that, they say he was with a woman on the day he died. I want y'all brothers to think about that for a second. And come to find out, on top of that, on his last panel, seemed like he was arguing with her in the background, arguing with some woman. I guess that was the woman. I'm gonna leave y'all brothers with this. Help men. Because we paid it forward to Kevin Samuels, to pay it forward to the world. He brought female nature to the forefront. Now the world see females for who they are. Ain't no escaping this shit. Red Pill Nation on the rise. We got to be honest about this, brothers, whether we agree with them or not. You see female nature for what they are, and you cannot escape that shit now. The world see it. This man amplified our voices and brought our voices to the world and brought female nature to the forefront for the world to see. And they laugh at this man's pain and death. To me, his death is questionable. And I'm going to always question it because of that woman that was with him, because it wasn't all good on that final night of his life. I want to tell you, brothers, that in your life, if you red pill, who life you affected? Who life have you changed? Because in this war, we're about waking people up. Because he woke up a lot of men. Helped a lot of men. Got to be honest about that. See, I had to take my feelings out of it. And I heard people's testimony. And somebody's testimony close in my life. We gotta keep that in mind, brothers. Rest in peace to you, Mr. Kevin Samuels. Farewell. I know you wanted to try to help women, even at the end of your life. They wanted to piss on your grave and laugh at the fact that you was dead because you was exposing female nature and brought it to the world. And the single mother hustle was over because men now could see them for who they was and who they are. Today, tomorrow, this is who they are in this gender war. Did the feminist mafia strike again? I don't know. It's bound to investigation. I love you, brothers, and I'm out.